Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Latinx Speaker Series. The Latinx group at the Broad has a mission of building community among Latinx Brodies and all people at the Broad Institute and all our allies. And we want to empower members of the Latinx communities to do research, to collaborate, and to integrate, and to promote their own work. The Latinx Speaker Series is a program where we highlight Latinx and diverse researchers within and outside the Broad. We foster collaboration, allow visibility and role models for diverse individuals, and we allow opportunities to network. We also like to promote research, and recently we renamed our Latinx Speaker Series in honor of Renee Salazar. So we call it now the Renee Salazar Speaker Series. So today we have the pleasure of hearing from the Cafina team and Pedro Dantes, and I'm going to hand it over to Andre, and he's going to introduce the group.
Hi, everyone. Really great pleasure to talk and then to introduce this group from today. It's a group from Brazil. So guys, welcome, bem-vindos. They are a team of students from the city of Salvador in Bahia, Brazil, formed by Pedro Dantas, Genilson Brito, Antonio Rocha, Ramon de Almeida, and Thiago Barbosa. In 2019, they won the biggest hackathon in the world, the NASA Space Apps Challenge, with 20,000 participants, with the solution to remove microplastics from the ocean through rides on ships and platforms. In 2023, they went to NASA to receive the award and to Boston to visit the MIT and Harvard. They also present their project at the Massachusetts Water Forum. With no further ado, today's talk is From Brazil to NASA. Guys, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As you were saying, we are here today to talk about the history of our team and the path we did from Salvador, Bahia, in Brazil, to NASA in 2023. We are a team that are made from Baianos. They are the people here from Bahia, a state of Brazil. We are university students, and we met in the university, me, Genilson, and Antonio. And in the championship, we met Thiago and Ramon. And that is where the Cafena team was made. And in the event, we create the Cafena team that win the competition here in Salvador. The NASA Space Apps Challenge has the objective that creates solutions to the world problems based on the agents' data. So they inspire the teams to create solutions using data to solve real problems from the world. In the year we participate, the edition of the competition has 29,000 participants from 71 countries in the world and 225 cities. And this is the biggest hackathon in the world until last year, when the new edition of the same event superates the one we won in 2019.
Hello, everyone. My name is Genilson. I'm member of the Capini team with Pedro too. And talking about our project, we built the concept of the ocean ride because we noticed the vessels percourse and transit 24/7 from all extension of the ocean. And we noticed that if we could couple a device in these vessels, we could take a ride and take out the ocean microplastics. And also the currents, we noticed that the currents flow to specific points of the ocean. So thinking about that, we built the concept of the device that can be placed in fixed fixed points of the ocean, and this is the two versions of the project. This is the pitch that we submitted to the NASA platform, and we won the event with this pitch. We presented first in Salvador in the local event. It was a Portuguese pitch in 3 minutes, and the next step we need to submit a 30-second video in English. So we took us to one week to produce this one. So here you go.
This is Dende feeding on microplastics in the ocean. Now he can count on Ocean Ride, a Cafeína team development. Our concept uses as a ride the ship roads and ocean currents and can be coupled to vessels and platforms. Ocean Ride is a mechanism that utilizing static energy and microporosity is able to collect and store ocean debris. Being a highly innovative and scalable idea, our project will quickly be spread around the world, leaving the ocean clean for Dende and all marine life.
But we have in the team another side form of impact that is the education. And the year that we participate, it was only me, Pedro, and Antonio from our university to participate in NASA Space Apps event. And we through monitoring, through workshops and webinars, we inspired and motivated another university students to challenge themselves to participate in the NASA event. And the year of 21, we made more than 100 people participate in the NASA Space Apps. We also bring this method of the hackathon of NASA to the schools of Brazil through the Hack at Schools initiative. And we participated of the organization, and we made the judging and the mentoring of the teams, and we reached more than 600 teenagers and 4 public schools of Brazil, in Bahia in specific. And in the city of 21, we was in the organization of the event, and Salvador was the city with the highest number of projects in Brazil, and more than half of these projects were from teams of the youth, but that is our university. So what was 3 persons, me, Pedro, and Antonio, and now is more than half of the event that is the biggest of Brazil.
Exactly. So Genilson was saying that we create a solution to clean microplastics in our university and in schools in our city, but we are waiting since 2019 to go to the NASA, and during the pandemic we couldn't make it. So in December 22, they invited us to the NASA, but they didn't pay for anything. So just to get the visas here in Brazil, we need to go to other states. So for this, we need tickets, hotel, the cost for taking the visa, and the time challenge. So here in Brazil, we have this crew we create to make this mission almost impossible, a little bit possible. So we have these companies with us. Some of those are already in the Jenny, I think you jumped the slide. Some of those are with us here in Salvador and come with us to the NASA. Some of them was already waiting for us in the United States. but we all together have this mission to create a product here in Brazil to sell the companies, and then they help us to get to the United States. And that's what we did. So 15 days before we leave Brazil, we have just like a quarter of the amount we need to make this happen. But we go and we make some debts, and we believe that this is going to be possible. And today, almost 2 months later, this trip has already happened. That's the partners we made to make this trip possible. And that's a huge impact for us, that we believe in this dream and we make this happen, and now see how many institutions, universities, enterprise from Brazil have supported us and make this happen. So that's really important for us, and that's a huge hope we give to the other youngers and students, universities from Brazil, that they can make it just like us and get the support from Brazil, because we believe this is possible. So we already did it. We went to NASA headquarters in Washington. There was a really a dream to be there. We were going to Florida before, but since the pandemic, they changed the location for the trip to Washington. And the fact there is the headquarters, we could be seeing and talking to leaders, managers from the Artemis, James Webb, and SWAT mission, and that was really perfect. We couldn't believe that this is happening, but it was perfect. But we didn't make all this effort, get all these sponsors, and do all this mission to get only our award or only visit Washington. We did it for go even further and get the biggest experience as possible to bring back to Brazil and inspire other students with what we did.
And this impact started here in Brazil. Yet the during the connection, we could visit the headquarters of Sherman family. They have the Voice of Oceans. We were there with Ale Moreno and Eloisa Sherman, and we presented to them our 3D prototype that is a non-functional prototype, but is the attribute to the sailboat of Catch that I have here to show you. And we got Eloisa Sherman to sign in our prototype, and they gave us the ESG report that they presented in the United Nations. So it was very exciting visit. And another visit that we went in Washington was in the Catholic University of America. We were there with Duília de Mello. She's also a Brazilian. She's vice rector of the university. She also worked at NASA, and because of her, we could present our project and all of this journey to the people of the engineering school, the dean, everybody of the engineering school. So it was very nice to see this, and also researchers PhD in microplastics. So it was a very rich experience that we got. And also we were there in the MIT with Anselmo Cassiano. He's a professor in MIT and in Harvard. And we could visit some places and like the MIT Media Lab that have a lot of technology, and the entrepreneurship, the slow management school that we could visit. No, Finer and Mariana, and in this experience in MIT, we could visit the Broad Institute too. So it was a nice day, and we could know Ricardo as well. And it was a very exciting experience too.
Yeah, so thing that is most important in all this journey is that the people we met during the way always come back to help us get where we need. So when Genilson says that we met Duília de Mello in the Catholic University of America, some days after that, she called us to ask if we can go to New York, that she can make a meeting with us and the consul from the General Consulate of Brazil in New York. So we go to New York at 3 p.m. and we made this meeting with him, and he was responsible for business relationship, investments, science and technology. So it was a really important connection we made there. And in the same day, we came back to Boston because in the next day we have to visit Harvard. And Harvard is one of those experiences that, like MIT, it was our dream to be there and to see what's real, see what's the movies, see what we see in the internet, and that was a perfect experience. We also counted on Cassiano, that is uh, one of those partners that help us along the journey, and we can visit Harvard Business School. We visit Harvard Innovation Lab, and we get to meet some Brazilians in the campus that show us the structure and how is the day by day in Harvard. And to finish our journey in Boston, we were able to present our project in Massachusetts Water Forum. There is a huge impact for us because in Brazil, in forums, we are normally seeing specialists and activists, but we saw in Massachusetts Water Forum that we also have children from schools. We also have other people interested in the theme. So when we stopped our presentation, the kids from the school came to us to take a picture, and they said that is the best moment of the forum. So we went to United States to get some experience to bring back to the youngers, to the students here in Brazil. And we saw that our experience, our story, our project could be a force of impact outside Brazil too. So that was a really important experience to close this journey with the most important experience we have. So it was really important for us to be in all this experience, to meet all these people, and we used to repeat this phrase we learned from Cassiano, that doesn't matter the size of the mountain you are on top. The important is how many people you bring with you to the top. And be here today talking to you is a demonstration of that. We want to thank Ricardo for this opportunity because he is one of those persons that met us during this journey and saw our history in our path to be there. And that's one of these days. The NASA posted this experience with the champions in the headquarters, and we are the only team with a 3D prototype. So the prototype was there in this picture. We are me, AJ Nilsson, and Antonio also in one of those pictures. So we are in the official site of NASA. This is awesome. Also, we have a huge impact in social media. This is the impact we have in our Instagram during the trip. We are doing during all this trip, we are making a entire program in the Instagram to show them the experience and all these steps we did in the United States. So it was really important for us that during this journey we are already impacting Brazil even before we get back here, because a lot of people was watching us and taking a look in what we're doing in the United States. And also, when we get back, there is a lot of impacts in the Instagrams from a lot of important persons and pages here in Salvador, Bahia, and Brazil. So it was really important for us this impact and get a lot of people to know what we did when we was in this trip. Yeah? And also we have now this post mission. While we are traveling, we were filming everything with Thiago Sampaio, one of our tripulants, and we are almost with the documentary ready to be posted. So with this, we want to take our experience, take our example to a lot of people, even those we can reach, we can be there physically. We want this documentary to be a part of us in every class, in every university, every school we can reach. Also, we are doing some events here, some events from the proper team and some events for the sponsors, but we want to make the most of them as possible to be there in making this example get to the most people we can. Also, we want to continue with this social media reach where we can share for everyone these checkpoints in the development of the project. And we also want to really make this network concrete. So we want to be uh, a link from Brazil to the United States and from Boston to the Brazil. We want to create this bridge and also bring people from there to here and from here to there. We are also in this roadmap where we are now in the first way to the where is the functional prototype. After that, we are going to be on these missions where we are going together with the Sherman family couple our dispositive in the boat so we can start the measurements and data collection. After that, we went to a little tryouts here in Brazil or in some little base. And after that, we go to medium and big vessels to really expand the ocean ride through the world. So that's our roadmap and how we want to impact the world. Thank you guys for the experience, for the opportunity, and I hope you enjoy.
Thanks a lot, Pedro and the Cafina team. So I'm going to open it up for questions now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post it in the Q&A or in the chat. You could also ask the question directly to the speakers. But the first question I have for you guys is, what is the next immediate step for you? I know you listed the functional prototype, but what does making a functional prototype mean?
A functional prototype mean for us here in Brazil that we have enterprise here that are specialists in developing these engineering missions, these engineering miracle ideas. So we are going to start the developing with them to finally make this definition of the material, size, and with that we can produce and physically have this functional prototype.
So you have to make a, I mean, there's a lot of engineering resources at MIT, but I don't know how many people at MIT are in the audience.
Yeah, for us, it will be a dream to develop in MIT our project. That's for sure.
If there's any other questions, please feel free to ask. Do you guys have any questions for us? So at the Broad Institute, we do genetic research, but there's a strong group of us who are aware and are interested in sustainability. You seem like you're making smaller robots, right? Can you scale up this design to haul in more microplastics? Is there an
Yes,
idea?
our prototype, they can be built to any vessel or any platform. So the thing that will change the size, it is literally the capability of this vessel to push them with the vessel along the ocean. And we are also developing some new products to the rivers or to other type of vessels where we can put it in any size, anywhere that we can take microplastics from the water.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question. I know this is just a prototype, but do you guys have any idea of the capacity of the prototypes that you can generate, and then how many of each vessel would have to use to be able to generate enough recycling, or I don't know, what is you guys expecting for after collection of this microplastics? And then another question is, what are your biggest challenges right now before moving to something more real?
First, our challenge is the same for both questions. We have a little information about microplastics in the ocean. So it's really difficult that before we go to the practice, we know how many microplastics we can take from each road, or how many microplastics each boat will take out of the water. So that's why we create these missions in the roadmap where we can start this measure and collect our data to create that perspective. So for now, the same struggling is our biggest challenge. Before, we don't have the money to start the project, so it was really difficult to create a hardware without help or technical knowledge. But now we have surpassed this point, and we are struggling with this information and data that we are trying to conquer, and we are probably going to develop our own data and studies to create these measurements.
And there is another struggle that is from the moment you couple anything in a vessel, you'll be hard for this vessel transit in the ocean as it was. And this can bring more impact in the environment, but we are building a study to credit carbon, so we can compensate this with credit carbon and put these devices in strategically fixed places and not in all of the boats and vessels, so they can be more how can I say, more accessible and more strategic for us.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just one more question. Any ideas for recycling the microplastics? Is that something that it's doable or not?
Yes, yes. That's a huge point of our project because in the recycling industry, we actually spend energy, time, and money to get a plastic and destroy it to create another thing. So when we take off the ocean, the plastic already destroyed, we can avoid this energy, time, and money and just create something new. So the plastic itself can be recyclable and have a big aggregated value. So also we have this idea we saw of a startup that are using microplastics to create rocket fuel. So we think we can do many things with microplastic, and even someday, who knows, we can power the vessel itself by the plastic he is turning out the ocean. So we have no limits for that. We think all ideas can be great ideas with the plastic.
That's really cool, guys. Congrats.
Thank you.
One
Thank you.
last on this. So, there's a lot of microplastics that go deep in the ocean and like are like different depths. Can your prototype also work at different depths of the ocean? Control what's the maximum depth it can work at?
So while we are researching to create the ocean ride, we saw that the average depth that the microplastic stays in the water, uh, 5 meters maximum. So that's the space where big ships go into the water. So we program the ocean ride to be alongside these big vessels and go all the way to the surface area to 5 meters. That's the maximum for now. We are looking for reach the microplastics.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Congratulations again. And let's call it
Thank you.